Hey guys, it's Dar. Peace, love, welcome in. So today I want to talk about child sexual abuse because I believe it's a calling on my life to do so. And I've done a lot of research, listened to a lot of different stories about abuse, some of it from people that I do know very on a personal level. So child sexual abuse in America is rampant. Really, it's rampant all over the world. And one of the major reasons why it continues to be so prevalent in the world is because we do not talk about it. We refuse to talk about it. And guess what? We're not protecting our kids by not talking about it or for waiting for the next generation to take care of it. No, this generation here needs to take care of it. Child sexual abuse is a horrible, horrible thing. Children are not meant to have sex with adults in any way, shape, or form. So any adult who thinks that's okay, there's definitely an issue with that adult. Were they molested as a kid? Probably. Does it make it okay for them to do it as an adult? Of course not. It might explain why they're doing it, but it doesn't make it okay. We really need to change the laws for sure. Now, changing the laws, wheels of justice are slow, so that takes some time. But talking about it, we can do right now. And we don't do that enough. And I get it. People don't talk about it because they feel shame that they love. I understand that. Has no business having a child. Okay, and if you're an adult that doesn't get that, your body parts were not meant to be connected in a sexual way to a child. If that were the case, we'd all be born grown. Obviously, when you're a child, it's not something that you should ever be introduced to. I used to get so angry, and if anybody would have ever attempted to touch one of my sons, I swear to God, I would have done something to them, and it wouldn't have been a good thing. I've understood and learned that folks who commit these atrocities, there's something wrong there, and they need help as well. Do I believe people can change? Yes, they can. Remember, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. Okay, so we're much higher, powerful beings outside of this human body. But some of us get so connected to this human body that we don't know any other way to satisfy ourselves. So anybody that molests a child or assaults another person sexually, they're usually a low vibing energy person. What does that mean? That means they don't understand anything about spirit or higher spirit or have any beliefs outside themselves. They're so connected to their body that they seek out other humans to satisfy them sexually. And they're very low vibing beings. And that's a really not a good place to be for anybody, because children obviously end up getting abused and hurt by adults. Why America hasn't been the leader in this, I don't know. If you look at the whole situation with the Epstein files, really, that was just quickly swept under the rug. And we all know something's going on with that list. And I don't care who's on it. Anybody that has hurt a child in that way needs to stand before a judge and spend time in jail and hopefully get some help. But I know what I can do, and I can talk about it. I have no problem talking about it. I've seen it around family members and people I know. I understand the damage that it does, and I understand the damage that it continues to do when you do not talk about it. So we either start talking about it and protecting our kids, or we might as well just end it here. Because if we cannot protect our kids, why are we even here as humans? And if you're not sure about what's going on in the world, I will tell you this. Things are changing rapidly when it comes to the spiritual world. People are seeing more things now that they could have perceived prior. What am I talking about? People can hear and see things that somebody else may not. And quickly, in America, we want to call somebody mentally ill or crazy. Well, they're not. take a look around you. There's a lot of people who are saying, I can hear and see things. And we right away want to label them. They are not mentally unstable. They can see things because they are higher in spirit. Their higher being has opened up that realm for them, and they see. It's not a bad thing. It's just explaining what's going on with them. We need to treat them better. We need to protect our kids better. We're in a country where sexual abuse and children shootings, school shootings, are happening all the time, and we aren't doing jack shit about it. We'll say, yeah, we'll pray and all that crap, but we're not doing anything physically about it. And that's really sad. That's why the spirit that's in your body, okay, your spirit is much higher and bigger than what's in this body. But we are here to help one another, save one another, love one another. And we need to start talking about sexual abuse like we talk about our first dates or a trip to the grocery store. It needs to be commonplace because right now it's hidden. It's hidden because it's a deep, dark, sickening secret that we all know exists, but nobody wants to talk about it. I've got no problem talking about it. And that's my goal. That's my calling in life. I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to embarrass people when I talk about it, but I'm going to get them to look at this as a normal thing to talk about rather than, oh my God, I want to talk about that. I want it to be so normal that a young child can't easily be manipulated by a pedophile because it's been around them all their life. Their parents have told them. They've talked about it. And that this is your body and nobody should be touching you. And you go and tell an adult. You go and tell more than one adult. Is that happening in some places? Probably. But not at the extent it should be happening. We really need to get off our asses and protect our kids. And these humans that are committing the atrocities, well, I'll tell you this. Excuse me, my eyeballs itching. These human adults that are committing these atrocities, yes, they were a kid at one time. And probably they were molested or raped by an adult. Does it make it okay for them to do it as an adult? No, of course it doesn't. But we can understand why. If that's you, you can get help. You can end living in that low vibration state that you've been living in, what's full of depression and sadness. And I hope at some point, you look at what you've done and you're disgusted by it, and you can then make a change. Nobody can tell me that there's something good about child sexual abuse. If you can, I'd certainly would like you to debate me, because I will win. No child's going to get abused if I'm standing in the doorway. And I'm sick and tired of everybody being afraid to talk about it for whatever reason. We have to talk about it, or else we can just really kiss another generation of kids goodbye. This has been happening since I was a kid, when my parents were kids, when their parents were kids, and their parents were kids. And it's all over the world. And it's probably the most disgusting criminal act you can do to a child, but we still don't have laws protecting them. Says a lot, doesn't it? You rob a bank, your ass is going to prison for so many years. You molest a kid next door, slap on the wrist. No, it needs to be the other way around. We need to protect our kids better. So, in any event, the spiritual part is connected to the human part, so we can't talk about it without connecting the two. So, my intent is to get people to understand that, when you're committing acts against another human, that does something to your spirit. And I promise you that when you pass on, you will feel every bit of pain that you caused anybody else. And if you're a child molester, pedophile, and you've raped a child, you will feel that when you pass on to the other side, because we don't end here with this body. We move on. We're a much bigger spirit than what we see. If you're looking for forgiveness, I believe that the higher power is very forgiving. But that's not for me to judge. That will be your time. But if you can do something about it now for yourself, I would suggest that you do. Get some help. All right, we're going to talk more about this. I love you. Peace out.